There, YouTubers, stand by. We'll be with you in just a second, right after Fox News break. So hang in there. Some things have got me mad this morning. Uh-oh. And right now is right now. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
And I'm Kelly Knapp.
Welcome to the Wednesday Hump Day. It is Wednesday.
It
Yeah,
is.
Hump
I
Good.
had to think about that. Yes.
Hump Day edition of
Yes.
Live and Local Real Talk. We do
Mhm.
appreciate you being with us.
Mhm.
And if you're listening on radio or whatever, if you do want to see what we look like, just pay attention to this app. You can go to YouTube and then Google or then search under YouTube. Or when you get to YouTube, search for Live and Local Real Talk. There will be about 1 million live and locals out there. If you add just Real Talk at the end of it, you'll take us pretty much directly to us. I don't think there's another one.
Mm-mm.
Yet somebody else will steal that too one
I
of
know.
these days.
We need to copyright our name.
Yeah, well, they can't. There's just so much out there.
Yeah.
It's so public. You can't do that. We got a lot to talk about. First, fires, landslides, and now an overnight earthquake in California.
Oh, wow.
4.4, Santa Rosa, I think it was.
Huh.
Gas leaks and broken gas mains and stuff like that. And I don't think there's any real major damage. I didn't hear of anything. That's some of the stuff plaguing California these days. Not to mention Pelosi and the pro-crime district attorneys out there.
Mhm.
The good folks of California might want to consider moving somewhere else, but wait. A lot of them have already done that, haven't they?
They're moving to Texas, apparently.
Totally understandable. Just don't come to North Carolina and bring
Mhm.
your liberal views. If you come to North Carolina, come to North Carolina for what North Carolina is. Sometimes beautiful.
Yes.
Sometimes a state of confusion, like
Mhm.
here in Oslo County.
Yeah.
You're on. Last night, the Republican Executive Committee looking to replace, put two people out there to replace two individuals. One who got kicked off, the other who is resigning, I guess at the end of this month, from the Onslow County Board of Education. And they had a couple of choices. They put a couple of options out on the table last night, right?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah. And in spite of a lot of pre-meeting
Shenanigans.
Yeah,
That's what I
was
call it.
trying to call it something.
I'm calling it
I was
shenanigans.
trying not to call it something else. Anyway, a lot of Bravo Sierra
Mhm.
that was going around, letters,
Phone calls. Emails.
and emails to
Mhm.
everybody, including all of the elected Republican leaders in our county,
Correct.
from everybody who was an elected person who had an R beside their name.
Mhm.
They got these emails, we understand, and saying that we want all of you guys who were elected to recuse yourselves. Don't vote in
Mhm.
this process. Why? What was that about anyway?
I don't know. I've been
I
trying to
don't
think
get
about
it.
that. I don't know. I think maybe this is me making a guess.
Mhm.
Maybe they thought if if all the electeds didn't vote, then that would sway a vote in their favor.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's what I don't have any idea, Rayford.
Well,
It's
the
weird.
idea was it was one particular individual who
Mhm.
he was his wife ran 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
2020
Yeah. Yes.
for school board
Correct.
and lost.
Yes.
Okay. So he was putting out the word that he wanted her name to be
Mhm.
included,
Mhm.
which is not the way the executive committee wanted to do it, but they did give an option. They voted on an option
They
last
apparently
night.
had two options.
One of them was to open it up to any Republican, whether they were, in the primary this year and did
or
not make it,
Yeah.
or whether they were, ever even in any primary and
Or
didn't
whether
make it,
they
or
just
whether
have
they were
never-
just a Republican.
Yeah.
It could have been,
Yeah.
and under those conditions, Kelly and
Could
every
have been
other
like me going
Republican.
up there.
There are
Yeah.
how many Republicans in Onslow County? 44,000.
Something like that. Yeah.
So any one of those 44,000
could have went.
could
Mhm.
express an interest.
Yep.
Holy moly!
Can you imagine what a nightmare that would actually be?
They wouldn't have a choice.
You'd need-
They wouldn't
yeah.
be able. No, it would be back to the Board of Education picking it.
That's
in
what I would
30
have been like.
days.
Yeah, y'all got this.
That would be it.
Yeah.
So anyway, they picked the two who did not make it in this past spring's primary,
Correct.
who were the next in line.
Next two in line.
Okay.
Yes. It's my understanding. Yes.
That's how it
Yeah.
was done.
Which makes sense. I mean, I get
It
it.
does.
Yeah.
So
I don't
anyway,
have a problem with
and
it.
those two include Lewis Rogers and
Elbert Garvey,
Mhm.
if I'm saying his name right.
I
Yeah.
think you are.
Mhm.
So those individuals, once the names are given over to the school board, and they will formally accept them at their next board meeting, I presume.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know
would
either.
guess.
Then they get sworn in and whenever, and they're off and running.
Mhm.
So congratulations to the newest two school board members.
Yeah.
Now that's what that brings up is, again, once the elections are over, there are two of the current members, including board chairman Bob Williams
Mhm.
and Jeff Hudson, who they decided they were not going to seek re-election.
Yeah.
So they're going to be replaced. So there will be two new ones there, right?
Yeah.
And these two individuals that have just been appointed. So 4 of the 7
Mhm.
will be brand new to the Board of Education.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Brand new.
Mhm.
And so at the first meeting, and I guess it's December, at the first
Mhm.
meeting in December, the 7 people will decide who their chairman is going to be. You would think, I mean, I would think that it would probably be one of the other 3 who have been on the board,
Mhm.
but that's not a requirement.
No.
The 4 new ones could make that choice and decide among themselves, which one of those 4 could be the chairman.
So Bill Lanier is running as well. So there's 3. That's what I thought.
Bill Lanier is running what?
In the race this fall, there is 3 seats open.
Yeah, but presumably Bill Lanier will be elected.
Presumably, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It could be a Democrat.
It could be. I think a Democrat, one of the Democrats running, is a strong candidate.
That's a good possibility.
I could see that particular Democrat getting in.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, okay.
I've heard that rumblings about them. So I don't know.
So there could be 5 new ones
Yeah,
after November election.
after November potentially, unless
Mhm.
Bill gets in. Yeah, he
So-
was the front runner this
So
time.
yeah, okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
hey, good morning, Howard. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I had occasion to listen to your interview with Mr. Johnson yesterday,
Oh,
and unfortunately, I had to terminate my listing because I had an appointment. So I wanted to ask you one thing. My rabbit ears went up when I heard him mention something about the teachers, and what I wanted to know is, did any of you guys talk to him about his opinion on CRT?
we did not, but he's coming back
Yeah,
in
he's
here.
coming back
we
in.
had a 30-minute time limit yesterday. We had
Yeah.
several issues that had to be covered.
Yeah.
But yeah, CRT, and also I want to go back because I did not have the facts in front of me when he mentioned the raises,
Mhm.
but I do know that our state legislature did give teachers raises for the last several years, and they
Mhm.
brought them up quite a bit from where they used to be.
Yeah,
So
but they're not where they need to
they're
be.
not. Nobody's where they need to be.
Mm-mm.
I will tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But
I used to have a tremendous amount of respect for the teachers until this wacko president of their union started coming out with all this baloney sausage. And, now they're talking about having any book that's out there in the libraries, in the school libraries. And some of those books aren't something like Huck Finn or any. I'm talking about some serious pornographic books.
Yep.
And they said it's okay to be in the doggone library. So,
well, I think the parents will probably put him
Parents
down.
will take care of that. Yeah. Yeah. Parents will
I
deal with that.
had the opportunity to meet Mr. Johnson at one of the polling sites a few years back.
Uh-huh.
And I know you guys aren't George Cleveland fans, And I don't believe either in voting for a guy because there's an R in the back of his name. But the thing about it is, these Democrats scare me to death. And he, when I talked to him, he said he was trying to convince me, obviously, to vote for him. And I told him, I said, the last Democrat I voted for was Lyndon Johnson. And that was when I was overseas, and they told us, we need to back our president. So that was the last one I voted for.
Wow.
And I'm probably not going for any, I'm talking any Democrat for any situation. I'm very Republican minded.
Well, see, here's
And
my
I know-
problem with that. If you don't
Yeah.
vote for them because they got a D beside their name, it's as bad as voting for them because they got an R beside their name.
Yeah.
Because look what happened to the
Maybe.
school board.
Right.
He had an
I
R
know.
beside his name. The only way he could get elected, he had an R beside his name. And look what happened. It cost us $200,000. It cost you, me, and all the taxpayers of this county $200,000 to get him off the school board.
Not to mention the lawsuit filed by.
We don't even know what that's going to result in.
That's going to be astronomical. I just have this feeling.
I have to say, I'm wrong because a Democrat broke up the no-hitter last election because I looked into her background very, very closely, and she by far was head and shoulders, and I'm talking April Wood.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a supporter of hers because I don't consider her partisan. I consider her, if something's rotten in Denmark, she's going to find out about it.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks, guys. Have a great day. You be
Thank
safe.
you.
All right.
You're welcome, Howard. Take
All
care.
right.
Tell Mandy
All
we like her.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, she's sitting right here now.
Hey, Mandy.
We can hear
Okay.
her.
Hey,
panting.
sweet girl.
Can you say hi, baby?
Hello, sweet girl.
She looked at me.
Uh-huh.
Hello,
I'm
Mandy.
going to bring her into the station.
We
Yes.
want you to.
Bring her in one day.
She's panting.
There you go.
And
hot.
she looks so cute in her coat, you know.
Aw.
I've had so many people say, "Oh, she's lovely," and she's grown by in the next probably 4 months, 5 months, she'll be about 90 pounds.
Oh my.
Oh my. Get it, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to be a lap dog on this
get
one.
it.
Pure. Yeah, she's pure lab. She'll probably jump on. Jump on you guys or something.
That's
No,
all
she
right.
won't. Not if
Love
she's
it.
wearing her coat.
Not a
If
problem.
she's in her family dog mode, yeah, she probably would.
Okay.
So I think she's a Kelly fan.
Yay.
I hate to say it, but
Yay.
all right. She's mad at you for going scuba diving. I think she missed you.
That's right. He was gone for 3. A lot of us are mad about that.
Oh,
so
well.
She can join the
Yeah,
club.
yeah.
I needed
Yeah,
a
I
little
think
stress
she thought-
relief.
I think she thought you went to another station or something, and I was
Yeah.
trying to tell her no.
Nope. He's just dodging
All
us.
right, guys.
All right. Take
All
care.
right. So let's please ask Mr. Johnson about that.
Yes,
CR.
Oh, we'll get him
absolutely.
on. We'll get him on here. Some of the other issues. He said
Yeah.
he'd be coming back.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
All right.
All right.
I'll listen to the whole thing this time. I just had a very important appointment.
Well, you can
Okay.
go back and watch
Okay.
it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can go back to YouTube and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have the big technology, but
Just
I
go on the
know
internet and type
somebody,
in
a neighbor
YouTube.
that does.
Okay,
Yeah.
go to the internet, type in
yeah.
YouTube, and when you get to YouTube, just search for Live and Local Real Talk,
That's
and
all you
it'll
gotta
take you
do.
right there.
Now,
Yep.
what do you guys do? Real quick, think about this. My neighbor is trying to convince me to go into that free TV stuff and Wi-Fi and all that other stuff, so I could get stuff like, oh my God, stations I don't even know. But I told him the only way I'm doing it is if I am able to watch my football.
You can
And
watch more
yeah,
football
well,
than you will ever be able to get your hands on.
yeah, because I have a carrier now that's just charging me $160 a month,
Ooh,
and I don't even have any premium channels.
ooh.
Oh, heck no.
All right.
Yeah, I know that
Let me know. I'll put you in touch with my wife. She is the guru of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because right now I got to see Top Gun because he had it hooked up on one TV,
Yep.
and I was the new Top Gun, and I was really, really looking forward to seeing it or buying it even through the carrier. But that much impressed me a lot. So, all right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks, guys.
All right.
I'm leaning towards it, but there's one commercial where they say I was reluctant to switch from cable to this. And now I'm glad. So I don't know. I'm hoping that will be the case.
All right, it will be.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Have a good show. Okay.
You too.
All
Thank
right,
you. Have
bye.
a good one.
Bye.
Our buddy Howard.
Yep. I
All
like
right.
Howard.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, the politics around here, and Ike Johnson is who he was talking about. He's a Democrat running against George Cleveland in the upcoming election for the North Carolina House seat, District 14, right here in Onslow County.
Yep.
And George Cleveland is a nice guy. Okay, don't get me wrong. And he's a diehard Republican. He's a Marine combat veteran, and he's been around for a while. He's done a lot of good things for this area, no doubt about it. There are a lot of folks who say he's a little bit too stubborn, and I think he says to himself when he's describing himself, I'm a stubborn guy. And there are a couple of issues that what we addressed yesterday were those two issues that so many people, Republicans included, have raised to me about
same to me.
two things. That's what we really harped on yesterday in the beginning.
Yes.
But we will bring him back in here for the other issues. There are lots of issues. And Ike is a nice guy. He's also a Marine, 27 years, decorated
Bronze
Marine.
Star recipient.
Yes. And so he's got a lot to offer.
He does.
He's worked with the Jacksonville Police Department, the Onslow Sheriff's Office, when there have been potential issues brewing involving the community, and he's been like a go-between.
Yes.
They have sit downs, and he has managed to help keep Jacksonville calm, cool, and collected.
Yes.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So. Regardless of your politics, mine go all over the place and anywhere. I don't know. I can't tell you how I'm going to vote because I refuse to tell you how I'm going to vote in advance. And I generally don't tell you afterwards. The only ones I will tell you about are going to be the presidential race.
Okay.
At any time. And I can't tell you about that yet because I don't know who is running.
I don't think anybody knows who's running.
No,
yet.
well, Biden says he is, but I don't think he remembers that from day to day.
True.
If Biden is running, I will not vote for Biden.
Oh, absolutely not.
But I don't know that I will be able to vote for somebody else. It's not only a Republican that would be on the ticket. It could be 40 other people from various parties on various tickets. So I might have to look for one of them. You never can tell.
Well, no. Yeah.
It's because I will vote, but I cannot support Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris is even 2 steps below him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's Hillary. Oh,
well, luckily she said she wasn't running.
Well, she's lied before. She's lied her entire life.
Yeah, but I'm hoping I don't think she wants the embarrassment.
The Democrats came out and they convinced me that I should be running. Yeah, I can hear it now. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. You want to chat, give us a ringy-dingy, 910-333-0139, 910-333-0139. We'll be right back.
County Train Systems, Jacksonville.
Every day this time, the marine weather forecast is courtesy of Tideline Marine and Family LLC. If that old motor just ain't what it used to be, perhaps the repairs are coming more and more often. Maybe the smoke when you start it up is so thick you think you're in a fog bank. It might be time to move on up the ladder to a super quiet 4-stroke Mercury outboard. Tideline Marine has Mercuries in stock, some with more on order. So you should slide on over to Tideline and have a chat with George about repowering your boat. He will tell you the good. There is no bad or ugly about it. High pressure is building into the area through the weekend. There will be a very weak coastal trough later this week. Today, offshore northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knot, seas 2 to 3 feet. The winds will come down this afternoon. Dominant period 11 seconds. That's really great. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, diminishing to a light chop this afternoon. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds around 15, diminishing to 10 to 15 in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 4. Dominant period 7 seconds. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Northeasterly winds on Friday 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4, except around 2 feet near shore.
Today, mostly sunny, high of 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 85. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, low of 63. And then on Friday, sunny, high of 84. It's like
we're going to keep this
we're
door
getting towards
open.
fall.
We're going to keep this door open around here and a fan to blow and bring in some
Loving it.
nice, fresh, clean air.
Loving it.
Hey, looking towards Saturday for the first in a series of 5 North Carolina coastal trout series. We're talking about speckled trout here. We had Marisa Reeder in here yesterday from the Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission, and they're providing publicity and helping these guys out for this upcoming 5 series. It's a 5 series North Carolina coastal trout series. If you want information, go to playjosc.com. That's playjosc.com for rules, opportunities, and you can win some cash there and a lot more information too. The forecast right now for this Saturday, picture perfect water conditions. And it sounds like the weather is going to be pretty cool as well. Boy, that's good.
Well, today is the 4-year anniversary of Hurricane Florence. My daughter just messaged me.
Thanks a
Today's
lot,
the 4-year
daughter.
anniversary of her losing her house.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of other folks had.
My grandson is still traumatized by storms now to this day.
Well, unfortunately,
yeah,
the tropical system we've been eyeing for the past few days has officially been labeled a tropical disturbance. It's TD number 1. It's in the southern tropical Atlantic, about 900 miles east of the Leeward Islands, and could develop into a tropical depression by the weekend as it approaches the area around Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. There are a lot of other islands in that region as well. The disturbance is expected to continue on a west-northwestward course. There are
Jeez.
no long-range forecasts, but this is one we will continue to
Gonna
monitor,
need to monitor it.
as should you.
Yeah.
The good news, there are no other systems as of now in the tropics anywhere.
Woohoo.
Yay, the other one
Like it.
faded out and
Yeah.
went away.
Yeah.
The Hurricane Center's big map is clear
Mhm.
for the time being.
Yeah.
Ah, my. Gas prices.
They claim they're going down. Is that a true thing?
Gas prices around these parts are coming down. They're still
Mhm.
50% higher than they were the day before the 2020 election,
Yeah.
but still lower than they were 6 months ago. It's a ploy that I predicted during the summer.
You did.
That's when the Biden administration
it.
somehow managed to send
Yeah.
the prices to unbearable record highs that we have never seen before,
Yeah.
with a plan to make sure they dropped as we approached this year's elections. Keep that in mind. I told you about it. Enjoy it while you can, because after the election, you can expect to see them inch upwards. Got to keep the peasants in line. That's the motto of most administrations, Democrat or Republican. I paid $3.06 a gallon over the weekend in Jacksonville. I still don't understand why the prices in Hampstead and Wilmington are in the $3.60 range.
Mhm.
Duh. How much lower the prices will go depends on one thing: the poll numbers, as the elections are only 2 months away. That's what it's all about. If Biden's numbers look better, the price drops will stop.
Mhm.
If they continue to suck, the prices will continue to come down.
Well, you know, the Dow dropped 1,200 points
Yes, it
yesterday.
did.
People were scared.
Well, they should be.
Yeah.
The gas and diesel prices have sent food and merchandise costs skyrocketing.
Mhm.
They blamed it on the increased costs to get the goods to the stores. In other words, the truckers had to pay a lot more for diesel, so they had to charge more to move the stuff. You really understand that.
Yeah.
Have you seen any reduction in food prices since the price of diesel came down?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either. They blame it
Mhm.
on the price of diesel. That's what the stores did.
Yeah. I think the problem is the stores got comfortable with charging these prices
Uh-huh.
so that you're not going to see the prices go
Now
down.
they can make up and have more profit.
Yeah.
Don't expect any
Mhm.
changes anytime soon.
I
In fact,
agree.
there's a good chance we'll see higher prices and more shortages. Why? Railroad workers are threatening to go on strike at this week's
Mhm.
end.
Yeah.
Along with big trucks, a lot of the stuff we buy travels by rail.
Yeah.
Biden's labor secretary is involved in talks with the rail workers union, hoping to negotiate some sort of settlement. If that doesn't happen, lower gas prices aren't going to help the Democrats in the midterm elections.
Mhm.
It would require almost 500,000 additional long-haul trucks to pick up the slack if the railroad goes on strike. Ain't
Mhm.
likely, because there's already a shortage of truckers, about 80,000 short.
Yeah.
Congress could step in, but politically, for the pro-union administration we had, that would be a kiss of death among union workers when November comes up.
Mhm.
In preparation for the possible strike, Amtrak is planning to reduce the number of passenger train
Yes.
runs.
The
Ouch.
Chicago to LA route was reduced.
Now all
yesterday.
we need is a slowdown in air traffic and maritime shipping. Better start planning for next spring's garden and double what you normally grow. I suspect there will be a lot more hunters this year too.
I need to build a greenhouse.
I haven't hunted in decades, but this might be a return to my younger years. Good morning. Who's this?
This is the donkey man this morning.
How did
How
I
are
know
you?
that?
Yeah, because you probably had caller ID.
No, I didn't even look over there. Didn't have a chance. I just figured by the time I start talking about truckers, I'll be hearing from you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, as we know, the government does not regulate the price of diesel fuel or gasoline. But that BUT, here's what the government does do. The government regulates the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's exactly what it is. And it's just like, you shut down these oil leases, these pumps. We're going to shut down this because it's on government property. We're going to shut this one down for a while.
Yep.
Revoke your lease. We're going to do this. And that's when supply and demand comes up. As far as the railroad shutting down, yeah, that's going to be a big thing. Yeah, we're short trucking. And diesel fuel has gone down, such as gasoline. But, folks, they're just feeding you a little bit of what's going to happen in January. January, it's going to go all sky high, and y'all just going to enjoy it. And it's going to be right back up again. And the truck driving, as far as truckers go, you got so much turnover because these guys that go to school,
Yeah.
and they'll get out and be gone, and they'll come out and say, well, you need to be gone 4 weeks. You'll
What?
be out on the road 4 weeks.
I can't.
Oh,
do that.
yeah, these guys are, oh, yeah, I can't. And after about a week, they'll call them up. I'm getting a bus ticket home. Your truck is parked up here in Minneapolis. Enjoy yourself. I'm not going to do that. So you get a lot of turnover in trucking with this new breed coming on
I'm
because
sure.
they ain't going to stay away. And, unless, now your military is not so bad. If you get some of these guys getting out of the military, they've been on deployment, they've been overseas, they've been going away from their family, they're not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
But these farm boys and farm girls and these city dwellers and all that, oh yeah.
They gotta be home for dinner with mama at 12 o'clock on Sunday.
Yes, sir, buddy. And boys, they lose them. And then they'll get a job doing delivery somewhere. They can get it.
Local.
And, just a little bit of local stuff. That's all they want. But I've listened to them all the time. But, y'all, I just want to tell you, thank you for bringing Ike Johnson on. It just confirmed everything I was hoping for. I think I'm going to support him myself. And I want you to, because I know this new deal come out September 1st about this concealed carry. That people are advertising multi-state concealed carry. If you look at research that, let us know. Because it's so easy now. Well, I've got mine in the state of North Carolina. I'm not worried about anything.
Well,
but I've had so many people ask me about it. And I said, I don't know.
No. Okay, here's the situation. Look it up and find out which states that have reciprocal agreements with North Carolina.
Right.
New York does not.
Yeah, I've got that one.
About 35 do. I think it's 35 somewhere. So you can carry your gun as long as you abide by their laws. Now, their laws may be a little bit different than ours, maybe a few more restrictions, maybe a little bit more lenient.
You're right.
But as long as you carry your gun concealed and you abide by their laws before you go to those states, there are books out there that will tell you that. That's the way you do it. Now, these people, these clowns that will tell you, oh, we can get you a concealed carry permit that is good in every state or whatever. No.
Yeah.
There ain't one.
I don't think so.
There ain't one. Unless you were a cop or a retired cop. There ain't one.
Yeah.
Okay? Done. Forget about it.
Oh, I know. That's why I keep saying, hey, but I can't tell you. I don't know. To not tell you. You're going to have to call somebody else. And I said I was going to call Rayford Brown.
Yeah, well,
I told some of them yesterday, so I'm going to call Rayford Brown in the morning and tell him to explain that.
I will get somebody on here to explain it better than I can. How's that?
Well, I got mine, and just like when I went to Law, Mississippi, I checked every state that I was going through, and I could carry it no problem. In fact, I asked Chris about it, and then I checked on it.
Yep.
And I checked every one, because when I came back up into Tennessee was a little bit different, but as long as you concealed it, you had to do this, this, this. Other than that, you were fine.
Yep.
And I went up in Virginia and come back down into North Carolina.
Just don't cross
in Maryland. I was fine the whole time. No. I don't want it. To me, the southern border is not Maryland. To me, it's right there, Virginia, North Carolina, in my opinion.
Pretty much.
But that's Maryland was a southern state, but
part of it
I don't count that.
Part of Maryland was the Mason-Dixon line cut off part of the bottom part of Maryland.
Yeah, it did.
A lot of people don't realize
that. But well, look what Missouri. They flip-flop. That's how West Virginia came to be.
Yeah.
Was over that. I just wanted to call this morning and if somebody asked me, so you call in all this? I said, okay, I'll call in.
Sure.
But no, it's good to hear y'all. And like I said, I'm glad you brought Ike on. I've been studying about Ike, and y'all were talking about Monday or something like that. I wish, and I've said this before, I wish that the county government, board of education, would go nonpartisan. I just wish it would just go nonpartisan and do away with the Republican and the Democrat and all that. Let's just go nonpartisan. I would love for that to be that way, but it's not going to happen.
The school board was nonpartisan until just recently.
Yeah, they should have stayed that way. Honest God, and I wish the county commission would do that, but it's not going to happen.
No. I think Onslow County has pretty well decided that they don't want to be nonpartisan. You may be an exception. There are others like you but the majority they want to know. And part of that reason is let me explain to you part of that reason. Part of that reason is because, generally speaking, the Republicans are going to be more conservative, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so people were saying, I don't know how to vote because I don't study. And you honestly, you got to realize, go look down the streets here. It's your neighbors, your friends, your relatives.
Yep.
Some of them don't have a clue who's running until they get to the polls and they say, okay, well, this one's got an R beside his name. I'm going to say, that was a good one to do. I'll do that one. No.
Oh yeah. You're right.
And that's the only way they know how to vote.
Look at Eric Whitfield there, case in point. Case in point, right there. I mean, I didn't. I knew better. But I look at the local offices and the state offices more than I do the federal. I don't know why. And people say, well, I don't know why you don't look at. I said, well, I look at the local government, our county commissioners. I look at that's county government. That deals with Onslow County.
Yep.
I said, I look at the school board, and I said, I look at the state. And I'm just telling you, I look at that more important because that deals with me because we're supposed to be state by state, and then you got the federal government. And I'm more interested in my state than I am in the federal government. And people look at me like I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot.
And I've always been that way.
It always.
Our
rules and regulations start at the grassroots level. Period. Bottom line.
Exactly.
With city councils
right here
and
with
moves
the
on
county.
up.
Yep. And ordinances, yeah. And you need to know them.
Yeah,
I mean, you need to know what you can and can't do. And I tell people this, I just don't, you worried about what the federal government's doing, but you don't worry about what's going on in Onslow County or, your school system, and you don't worry about what's going on with the state.
I'll tell you one thing.
Well, it's
also much easier for the voters to fire through election processes a city councilman, a mayor, or a county commissioner, or a school board member. It's a lot easier to fire them during an election process than it is to get somebody out who's been in office in a congressional district, a Senate seat, or whatever. It's difficult to move them on, right? It has to be a major effort, but you can mount an effort in Onslow County or in the city of Jacksonville or in North Topsail Beach. I mean, they had a run. They had a write-in to win in North Topsail. Holly Ridge, Richland, Swansboro. You can unseat those people without a lot of effort.
Oh yeah. And this is my opinion, my most important race here in Onslow County has always been the sheriff's race. To me, it's to me.
He's the chief.
I mean, the county commissioner's great, right? I mean that's always been. And I was brought up. Maybe it's my fault. I was brought up that way.
Yeah.
But your county commissioners are important. School board is important, but the sheriff was always the most important one because he was the law enforcement. Yep. He was the enforcement behind the county. Yep. And so we've got some good ones. We got a good one coming up, and we've had a good one. I do commend Hans Miller for getting. And now I sounded like a Yankee when I say getting, not getting.
You did.
Hey, excuse me. And I did. I'm sorry about that. I've been around a bunch of them already. But Hans Miller, I said about him, he brought the sheriff's department into the 21st century, and he did. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was going to stay in a little while, and he was going to get out. And that's exactly what he done.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
And I have commended him on that, and I shook his hand. One night. I said, I'll tell you something. I said, I really think you did a fine job. I said, I didn't vote for you first time. I said, didn't want you in there. I said, but you did a great job. I said, second time I did. He said, well, thank you. And he just looked at me like I'm an idiot. And I probably am. But yeah, I think he did a good job. But let me get off of here. Right. Y'all got to do some things, and I will see. I got to load up and get out of here.
Have fun. Be loading carefully.
All right. You too. All right. Bye.
Live and local real talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, we're waiting for a call from a gentleman we all know.
That might be him now.
Might be him right now. And we're going to talk about the Lincoln Reagan dinner coming up here for the Republicans. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine. This is Chris Parr. Known him for a bunch of years now. Doing all right, Chris?
And you know what? I always have to make sure that everything is going well, and I just check the newspaper and the obituary column. I don't see my name, and I say, "Hey, I'm in good shape."
Well,
So,
it might come, knowing the way things are going on over there, and I'm not being disparaging too much, but knowing the way things are going on over there, it might be 3 weeks before they put it in there.
Yeah, at all. Yeah. Well, today happens to be a somber day for me because a lot of folks may not know this, but the wife of a very, very good friend of mine, he's an outstanding citizen, Second Amendment supporter. He's my neighbor. He's across the street. His wife's funeral is today.
Oh my!
And I'll be going to that in just a little while. And she died a couple of nights ago. And
deepest condolences.
Kurt Balance is his name, and her name is Betty Balance. And Kurt was known by a lot of folks that carry guns because he's an absolutely incredible leather artist.
Oh, really? Okay.
He makes holsters and belts, you name it, and then he does, and every stitch is by hand too.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question about Kurt. Is he local? Has he been around here for a long time?
Yeah. Oh, he's been here forever. He's been here forever. Yeah, he's local. Yeah, he lives right here lives right here across the street from me.
Did his daddy own something called Balance Grocery Store back in the many years ago?
That's exactly right.
I went to school with him.
Kurt Balance that's interesting. Yeah, Kurt. Yeah, he was in the grocery business, and
I'll be darned.
And now he's as I say, he's a marvelous. I make his business cards for him and promote his business. But
cool.
He makes leather, everything leather. You go to his house, you look at the leather, you can select the color of the leather.
Please pass along my condolences to him, if you would. Okay.
I will.
We've only got a couple of minutes here before we got to take another break here, so we need to get into this business of what you called for.
Yep.
Coming up in October. Is it October?
No, the Lincoln Reagan dinners, what I've been asked to call in about, will take place on September 24th.
September 24th. Okay.
Right. Yeah, just a couple week from Saturday, and it's at the Sturgeon City, and it's always a great event. I'm sure you've been to some of them.
I went to one last year, and even though I'm not a Republican, I sneaked in.
Yeah, we've had the dinner like that for many years, and
who's your guest this year? Okay, good. Go ahead, Ted Budd.
Ted Budd is the speaker. Is the speaker. And tickets are $50 for a single or $100 for VIP. But the best deal is to buy a table for $7.50, and then you can invite 7 of your friends with you.
I got you.
And that gives you elite sponsorship and also entrance to the VIP section, which entitles you to a couple of adult beverages if you choose to do so, but also the cold mingle with Ted.
Okay.
And it's a marvelous event, and it's different from this standpoint, Rayford, and that is the fact that Ted he's different. We've always lamented the fact that I know I have that our legislature is loaded with lawyers and so forth. Well, Ted is not a lawyer. He worked on his family farm. His family had a cattle and chicken farm. He was also involved in the janitorial landscaping business, and he knows what hard work is.
And he's running for the U.S. Senate seat that's been vacated by Richard Burr.
That is correct. He is, and he certainly deserves our vote. He's got an R behind his name by all means, but he certainly, no matter what, he's got an MBA from Wake Forest, and he's also got a master in theology and educational leadership, and so forth. And he's running against a bona fide lawyer, that's for sure, Sherry Beasley.
Yeah.
And of course, she's funded by a lot of lawyers and big shots and so forth. It isn't.
Well, I'll find out. I'll ask her if she's got any lawyer jokes that I haven't heard. I want to talk to her one day. If not, I've got a few she probably hasn't heard. How can people get tickets?
Okay, the tickets can there's several ways you can get a ticket by going to the Onslow County Republican Party Facebook or the website, or if you choose to do that, you could call Laura Diptola. She is organizing the whole thing, and her number, if someone chooses to do that, is 910-747-5073.
Okay.
And so anyway, that's the information, and I'm going to be. I have the honor of singing the national anthem, and also going to be giving a little bit of a brief history of our current flag.
Okay.
It's not very long, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, and today marks the anniversary of the pinning of our national anthem. By the way.
Indeed, that is correct.
Okay,
that is correct.
Hey, got to run here. You know
That's
how you know how radio is.
Indeed,
All
right. I'm looking forward to being in front of that microphone one of these days and talking to you and talking to the world about my concept of Ostrich University.
Okay, we'll chat about it. Let's take a break. Thank you, Chris. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Hey, we're back here for the last couple of minutes of this hour, and been joined by Lee Barrows
Good morning.
because Kelly's going to have to
I'm
take
gonna
a
leave in a little
leave
while,
of
yeah.
absence.
Yep.
I'm going to make you go ahead and make you mad before you get a chance to leave.
Do it.
An Iowa teenage sex trafficking victim who stabbed her rapist to death was sentenced by a judge yesterday to 5 years of closely supervised probation and must pay $150,000 restitution to her abuser's family. That's what I said. 17-year-old, she is 17-year-old Piper Lewis now, stabbed her abuser, 37-year-old Zachary Brooks, more than 30 times in June of 2020. She was initially charged with first-degree murder. Last year, she pleaded to involuntary manslaughter and willful injury, both of which were punishable by up to 10 years in prison. However, Polk County District Judge David Porter deferred those prison sentences on Tuesday, meaning Lewis could serve 20 years if she violates her probation. She got to do right. Got to do that. Porter said he ordered Lewis to pay restitution to Brooks' family because the court was presented with no other option. It's a mandatory Iowa law. Now, that said, I'm not sure why she pleaded, who
I
forced
wouldn't
her
have
to
pleaded to
plead.
nothing.
Well, here are the facts. She was 15. She was
Mhm.
stabbed. She stabbed Brooks in a Des Moines apartment. She had
Sure.
run away from home to escape her abusive adoptive mother. She was sleeping in the halls of the apartment building when Christopher Brown, 28 years old, took her in and then began trafficking her to other men for sex. Among those men was Brooks, who Lewis said raped her multiple times before she killed him.
Mm.
She recalled being forced at knife point to go to his apartment for sex. After Brooks raped her for what would end up being the last time, she grabbed a knife off a bedside table and stabbed him to death. Neither police nor prosecutors dispute whether Lewis was trafficked and assaulted, but prosecutors allege that Brooks was not an immediate threat because he was asleep when he was stabbed. I disagree
Okay.
with that. I totally 100% disagree with that.
Mhm.
When was she going to stab him? While he was raping her? No, she didn't have the opportunity. That was not presented her. He could overpower her. She was 15 years old.
Oh God.
This is
Bless her
trauma.
heart.
This is a result of trauma. I think that judge should be removed from the bench. I think the district attorney there should be fired.
I would not have filed charges against him.
Absolutely not. This is 100% a result of trauma.
Here's the
Period.
problem. Iowa is not among the dozens of states with a safe harbor law that gives trafficking victims some level of criminal immunity.
Well, that needs to change too. That should
Many
be a
states.
national thing. All 50 states should have that law. Bottom line.
She's going to go to a halfway house in Des Moines and wear a GPS tracking device to ensure she
That's
does not fall back into the
ridiculous.
lifestyle that you thus far left, according to the judge. She's got to complete 200 hours of community service. My spirit has been burned, but still glows through the flames, she read from a prepared statement prior to her sentencing. Hear me roar, see me glow, and watch me grow.
I bet this girl will do great things. If I were her, I'd go to law school.
She said, I'm a survivor.
Uh-huh.
Prosecutors took issue with that, claiming she failed to take responsibility for Brooks' death and left his children without a father. Whose fault is that? Wait a minute.
Yep.
That's Brooks' fault.
That's Brooks' fault.
You made
Who
that
is his
bed, dude.
prosecutor? What county is this again?
I don't know. It's in Iowa.
It's ridiculous.
What
I
an
mean,
idiot.
what did the judge think was going to happen when the assailant woke up?
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's take a break. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Fox News is next. Okay, we're back live in Local Real Talk, and Kelly Knapp and Lee Barrows in here with me. I'm Rayford Brown, if you're just joining.
The single Lee Barrows,
Yeah. Apparently not. People talking about you got like a boy toy.
25 years old.
Get it,
Wow.
girl.
Lord.
Get it.
Woo.
People just have nothing better to do
I
than
must have
gossip.
slept through it all.
Apparently.
Okay, last night you were not at the Republican executive.
No,
committee
but I'm
meeting.
very proud of the job that they did.
Okay,
I think their chairwoman and the rest of them, they did an outstanding job.
Coming-
Very fair from what I heard.
This is coming from the former chairwoman of the Onslow Republican Party. So that's interesting.
Yes.
Did you expect that outcome?
I was really worried because there was so much underlying, people that you've got this group that wants to make changes to the party, which they have no clue. And my understanding, they were already starting to, misbehave, so to say. So I really thought it
meeting
was
last
going
night?
to, well, I understand that they have their own agenda, let's
Uh-huh.
just say. And I really was worried that they were really going to make it hard for the party last night to do their business. But my understanding is Chairman did a fantastic job.
Good for her.
Kudos to her. Good job. And the rest of the executive committee, they showed up and they voted. And it was by majority. I think it was like 35-19 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like
Okay.
that.
So the 19 voted for option number 1, which would have been to open it up to all Republicans. Is that the way it was?
No,
gonna be?
option number 1 was to go ahead and pick the top two that didn't make it into the primary.
Okay, so the other option.
And so the other option was to open it up to anyone.
Okay.
And so the executive committee voted to go ahead and pick those
Now,
top two.
this opening up to anyone, it came about as a result of one person, a party member in the community,
Right.
an outspoken individual, right?
Right.
Wanting his wife, who ran in 2020 unsuccessfully,
Right.
wanted her, the executive committee to pick her for one of
Right.
those 2 seats, right?
Well, according to him, I've yet seen anything she has to say.
Well, that's what I
Well,
mean.
she never
Right.
says
He
anything.
said it.
He always
said
speaks
it,
for her.
yes.
Yeah.
So
And I understand that. Yeah, I'm sure there are going to be Facebook posts coming, videos coming,
No doubt.
whatever, saying that it was all done illegally. And I have my suspicions that the state was sitting there monitoring it last night.
I'm sure you
And
do.
I'm sure they were, and which is a good thing. I know that when we had to take the vote to replace Commissioner Shanahan,
Mhm.
we had already discussed at length in advance of the procedure. We had people sign statements saying that, they would agree to blah, blah, whatever the decision was, and that would be the end of it. And it was done very fairly. We had, I believe, a judge counting votes. We also had the 3rd district chairman of the state also counting votes. And so we were very cautious and careful with everything that we did. And it went really well. Of course, a week afterwards, I get phone calls like, we don't think it was done right. Well, why didn't you say something then?
Mm.
So I think the Republican Party did an awesome job last night, and I'm very proud of them all.
Well, it so reminds me of the Baptist Church and probably some other congregations as well. But
That's a good analogy.
when people get ticked off, they
Mhm.
go out and form their own church, right?
Yes,
They separate. They go
Right.
their own ways.
right.
It's either that or they fired a preacher.
And one of the people that's been instrumental in causing a lot of division is now running for a public office,
Mm.
and then has the nerve to go around and ask people for their support. And I'm like, I just don't get it. Go form your own. Go do your own thing.
Start your own party.
That's
there
right.
You go. Or join mine. Mine's independent. It's got everybody in it.
I know.
We'll take anybody.
More people are leaning towards that these days.
Dr. Rose, good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. How are all of you?
Well, good morning.
Politically unfriendly.
I don't consider any of you to be an unfriendly folk.
I appreciate that. Dr. Rose, we'll find some medical stuff to talk about. You got anything good before I come up with something?
I got something I want to
Uh-oh.
ask her about.
Okay.
Okay, I love it.
Dr. Rose, the CDC came out with a report on Tuesday, which would have been yesterday, that doctors throughout the United States have seen an increase of some type of respiratory virus in children that can cause polio-like muscle weakness.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
They're calling it enterovirus D68, causes a respiratory illness with mild symptoms, but it can result in a condition called acute flaccid myelitis. Have you seen any of that, or have you heard anything about that?
I have not seen that recently. I have seen that come up from time to time. So before anybody stresses out and panics over enterovirus, it's been there for a long time. It causes stomach symptoms, vomiting, diarrhea, your stomach hurts. But the nature of enterovirus is very similar to the polio virus, so that it can affect the nerve endings and with that cause some weakness. Now, enterovirus, at least in the past and everything I've read about it, and this news comes as a bit of a surprise to me because I didn't know that's one of the things that I need to be looking for. So thank you. But enterovirus's effect over the nerve endings, it is much more temporary than the polio virus, and that's the way it's always been. So what you feel is more of a weakness, and so you can get a little bit of a very temporary paralysis. And it really depends on which muscles. The whole thing about polio was, yes, of course, it caused paralysis. But if you remember, the thing about polio was the iron lung and not being able to breathe. It's because also the muscles, and the muscles in your chest could not do its work of breathing. And so that's why this contraption needed to breathe for you. But I've never heard of, nor think that that there's that correlation of the enterovirus causing those symptoms. So that's where it differs. Because no matter how temporary or not temporary, if you can't breathe, I mean that's bad.
Yeah.
If you have a temporary paralysis of your legs, and 5 days later they're coming back, and here I'm going to go back a little bit, is that it's temporary, and as far as I have remembered that I've ever seen it, it doesn't cause any permanent damage. So sometimes something can be temporary, but the damage that it causes as it comes and it leaves, then you can still have that ongoing problem. But enterovirus, it's a very temporary, almost like your nerves are sort of closed for a moment, and then you get full function of your legs. So the good news is that you have, if we do all go through this, and this is cyclical, by the way, this enterovirus, it comes and it goes every 2 or 3 years. We do see it. Mm-hmm. We just haven't been as alert to it. So the good news is that as it comes, it's going to go. The bad news is that, who wants to all of a sudden stand up and not be able to walk? I mean, that's a scary thing all by itself. It affects kids more than adults, so that's pretty challenging. But you usually don't get that neurological problem with enterovirus. It does happen, but it's infrequent.
And this says that if between July and August of this year, the number of detected that EV D868 cases is greater than 2019, 2020, and 2021. So this must be that cycle you're talking about, how, you said it comes and goes. So apparently we're in it again. So they just want people to be alert. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about that. I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either.
I have not. No.
I did go to a hospital. I was a little kid, and down in South Carolina, I went to see the great-great-grandmother of one of my cousins. She was in the hospital in an iron lung. I'd seen pictures of them over the years.
I don't know how
time.
That works.
But this, I mean, your head is sticking out. It's like a coffin, except bigger, and it's all iron, and it comes up, and the only thing that's sticking out is your head. I can't remember whether the feet were out or not.
Oh my God, I'm claustrophobic. That would be bad.
That's my image of every time somebody talks about the iron lung. I actually saw one in use.
Wow. Ooh.
Well, Dr. Rose, you got me thinking now, because when I was 6, I had a severe case of strep throat, and on Easter, I was telling Rayford about this. On Easter Sunday, I woke up and I couldn't walk, And at the time, and it was for 2 weeks, I was unable to walk. And they said that the strep had settled into my legs.
What?
Now I'm wondering if I didn't have this. I mean, this was in the 1970s, so it
Mm.
was a long time ago. But now you got me thinking, maybe they were wrong.
Well, strep can cause something called some pandas, and I forgot what each letter stands for, but it's some neurological effects of the strep.
Okay.
So it can get into your nerve endings and give you tics. It can make you behave a little strangely, but it can give you some muscle weakness,
Yeah,
some
I couldn't
severe
walk.
muscle weakness. It doesn't happen very frequently,
Yeah.
but it does happen.
And
Well,
I,
if it's
yeah.
going to happen, it's going to happen
It's
to
gonna
Kelly.
happen to Kelly.
So,
Yeah, I
you
can
know.
promise you. I don't get like normal sicknesses, but I get like weird stuff, and just I've always been that way. So yeah,
Mm.
I don't get a lot of colds and stuff, but give me something crazy or nonsense or something exotic, and Kelly's gonna get it. So yeah,
I got to get a bubble for you. She needs a
We'll call
bubble.
it exotic. Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Exotic.
yeah.
So, Dr. Rose, there's a reports coming out that the flu is going to be super, super bad this year. What have you heard?
I did hear that, and what I'm thinking is sort of along the lines that I've been talking about. That for 2 years, for the most part, we've kept ourselves a little bit less in contact, so our immune system is lower. We haven't gotten we've gotten 2 years of very mild flu.
And washing our hands.
Yeah, and so I think that this year everything cycles. As you can see, that what I keep on talking about in science and medicine is that everything cycles. I think we're in for a doozy. I've already seen it. The kids are very, very sick. It's almost overwhelming. September is our lowest month for illness. Always, always, always. Because by the end of the summer, there's no illness. July and August, they decrease. They decrease. You can get some of the sinusy kind of stuff, allergies. But I'm getting full-blown, very sick kids already. Flu-like symptoms that are not flu positive. Oh gosh, when we get to November, I'm expecting that our kids are going to be very, very sick. And not because of COVID, but because of several illnesses and the degree of illness. I think that we're probably going to see our schools being shut down temporarily so that our illness in our community can decrease.
Well, in the meantime, send your kids out and make a mud pie and eat it. They need to eat some dirt. That's still my remedy of prevention.
Shoot,
Well,
nowadays I probably
and
get
my other-
worms. Yeah.
Worms will be good. It'll kill the bugs.
Yeah. Well, and my other advice: if your kid's sick, call in and let them know so they don't think you're fibbing or wanting to keep them and go to the park or something. But don't send the kids to school. Just out of respect for the other children and your neighbors.
Please. Yep. All right, Dr. Rose, we thank you as always.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Have a
it's
wonderful
always
day.
a pleasure to come on. Thank you so much.
See you next week.
Sure.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
You ready for this one?
I probably don't think so, but let's hear it.
The Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer at the Department of Defense's Education Wing describes herself as a woke administrator.
Oh, Lord.
Wrote a series of disparaging posts about white people on Twitter.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Kalisa Wing is the DEI chief at Department of Defense Education Activity, which provides K through 12 education to the DoD community in the U.S. and all over the world. After her Twitter account was questioned by reporters, it suddenly went private, and she hasn't responded to reporters. She wrote in June 2020, "I'm exhausted with these white folk in these professional development sessions." This lady actually had the audacity to say that black people can be racist too. I had to stop the session and give her the business. We are not the majority. We don't have power.
Having power has nothing to do with the person being racist. What? Are you serious right now?
Caudacity is one of those slang terms that's used to describe audacity demonstrated by white people.
Oh my God.
Cardacity?
CAU.
Yeah.
Audacity.
Caucasian audacity.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh
gosh.
my goodness.
Cardacity. You have the cardacity.
She wrote, "Being anti-racist means being active against racism. You will never arrive. Stop centering this on whiteness." The DoD folks did not respond. on another occasion,
Let's just shut
she
Twitter
responded
down.
to a user who said, I'm exhausted by 99% of the white men in education and 95% of the white women. Where can I get a break from white nonsense for a while?
My goodness.
And this woman still, you know,
We're paying her. Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah, we need to cut those funds off.
I'm like, really? Boston police investigating a package that detonated at Northeastern University in Boston last night. One person injured. Department spokesman told the news reporters that officers responded to one of the halls, Holmes Hall, at about 7:16 p.m. for a report of a potential package that had detonated. They confirmed that a 45-year-old male staff member was injured in the explosion. He suffered minor hand injuries, taken to a local hospital. Boston police confirmed that a second similar package was found and was rendered safe by a bomb squad unit.
Oh, gosh.
What is going on here?
Well,
One could be a whatever. Two? How many
So it
more are there?
begins. It
Was
seems
this
like
ju-
Boston's always
Was
being
this
targeted.
just it was a minor bomb, obviously, because his hand
maybe it was
injured.
a test run.
That's the question.
Yeah. Maybe
I've
it's-
long
yeah.
said,
Let's practice.
I've long said that these clowns coming across our border and whatever,
Mhm.
and many of them end up.
Well.
We have foreign students. We have foreign students
Oh, yeah.
in these universities. How many of them are plants? How many of them are waiting for that dirty bomb, a
Right.
briefcase, a satchel
That's right.
Well,
with radioactive material in it to go boom?
you mentioned the border. We
Mhm.
didn't talk about this earlier this week, but this weekend on Sunday, your girl Kamala Harris on Meet the Press stated that the border is secure.
Yes, you would.
As thousands of illegals flood into it, she said, "No,
Is she
our
talking
border
about
is-"
the border around her house?
I don't know what she's talking about. She's delusional.
She
She said
certainly
the border
is.
is secure, but we have a broken immigration system.
Broken?
In particular,
Whoa, whoa,
over the
whoa, whoa.
last 4 years before we came in, it needs to be fixed.
I think
What?
I agree with her that it's broken, but who broke it? How about her boss, the leader of this great nation? He told men and women of the Border Patrol,
Mhm.
stop. Did he ever say stop the illegals? No, he said give them a pass. Let them come on in.
Oh, my God.
His actions and that campaign BS that he was spouting during that election, the last one, 2020, millions of illegals have been fighting their way into the country. It's about time. It's about time. You know what's happening, don't you? It's causing a war between the states of Texas,
New York.
New
Yeah.
York,
Yeah, they're mad.
I don't know. I have to give
Illinois.
Texas kudos.
Yeah.
Texas and Arizona continue busing illegals to northern sanctuary
Good.
cities.
They created these sanctuary cities. They're like, come here.
So
Come to our area.
since Biden won't deport them,
Yeah.
and he won't allow Texas or Arizona to deport them, so they're sending them to
Good on-
Chicago,
yeah.
Washington, and New York.
Good on
Yay.
Texas and Arizona.
I just have
I
to.
say, I
I'm
think if
just
y'all
like,
got what you wanted. You created these sanctuary cities. And now you're complaining because people are doing what they were created for. It don't make sense.
Illegal aliens crossing into Texas border towns are killing pets, eating animals,
what?
farm animals, stealing from stores, and they've been knocking on doors late at night. A lot of the residents who did not have guns are now arming
How
themselves.
do you not have a gun in Texas?
I don't feel
no,
safe.
everybody
How do you
open
live on the
carries.
border town and not have a gun?
That's right.
I'd have a whole arsenal. Well, I do anyway.
Well, here we
but-
go. I don't feel safe. An Eagle Pass business owner told reporters she has a business run by women. All of her employees are women. She said she keeps several weapons in her store for
Heck
defense.
yeah.
Griselda, another local business owner whose employees are all female too, said she used to close her business at 9 o'clock. Now she closes at 7 because so many illegals are roaming the streets.
She's
Well,
afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's afraid.
Yes.
She's afraid for her staff.
That's a crying shame.
Why do you have to live like that?
I agree.
Because of the president.
Mhm.
Got to do something. Got to do something, people. You're live in local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM WSME. Weather is next. Marine weather brought to you every day this time is a courtesy of our friends there at Tideline Marine and Family. If that old motor you got it just ain't doing what it used to
Ain't
do,
what she used to be.
yeah, perhaps the repairs are coming more and more often and more expensive. Maybe the smoke is so thick when you start that motor up in the morning, you think you're in a fog bank somewhere, or you're following a mosquito truck.
Yeah, definitely keep the mosquitoes away.
Yeah, it might be time to move on up the ladder to a super quiet 4-stroke Mercury outboard.
Mhm.
Tideline Marine has Mercuries in stock. More are on order. If you want to get in line, if you want to order something special for like next year, now is the time to go down there to Tideline and sit down with
Absolutely.
George and say, listen, George, we got to have a chat. I'm going to need a motor. And then let him work out something with
I
you.
need a motor and a boat.
Yeah, well, there you go. You can do that too.
Yeah.
He can help you out. We got boats and motors. High pressure builds into that's Tideline Marine. They're at 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Stop by and see them and say, hey, what's up?
Hey.
High pressure builds into the area through the weekend. There will be a weak coastal trough later this week. Northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots today, diminishing to 10 knots this afternoon. Seas 2 to 3, dominant period, 11 seconds. Really nice, smooth out there.
Calm.
Sounds and rivers, a moderate chop, diminishing to a light chop this afternoon. Northeasterly winds Thursday around 15, diminishing to 10 to 15.